on this training right now. So I'm just going to dive right into this. So what we're going to talk about today is the 5-star law firm review training. And client reviews is one of those tricky things that, from an agency standpoint, I work with, I oversee, I think, almost 70 law firm marketing campaigns, and we can do everything except get their clients to leave reviews. That's the biggest challenge, because at the end of the day, we're not them. And getting reviews is something that's it's a very challenging thing to do. Yet there's some law firms that have really done it really well, and there's other law firms that haven't. And what I want to do is I want to kind of bridge that gap today that kind of will show you some really easy ways that you can get more reviews for your law firm. And it's really important that you get good reviews for your law firm, because if you don't, then you're always going to be behind your competition. And a lot of times you're going to be behind inferior lawyers that just are better at getting reviews. And a lot of times the thing that people will rely on is the reviews. So today we're going to talk about how to get reviews. And in this training, you're going to learn how to use reviews to rank higher in Google. You're also going to learn how to make it super simple for your clients to actually leave their reviews and how to make them actually want to leave your reviews. You're going to learn how to get incredible testimonials from your clients. And I'm also going to give you a bonus video testimonial hack. You're going to learn how to avoid negative reviews and how to use them to get clients if you do get a negative review. A negative review is not always a bad thing. In fact, it's kind of it kind of legitimizes your law firm, because nobody's perfect. So, the biggest businesses out there, there's no major business out there that has a lot of reviews that doesn't have a single negative review. So it's not a bad thing if you have them, but I'm going to show you how you can use them, how you can respond to them, and how you can actually, make them work to your benefit. I'm going to show you now, this is something I'm really excited about. I'm going to show you how to ethically pay for reviews. And this one's going to blow your mind, because, a lot of times, like I've told clients before, hey, go get a bunch of Starbucks gift cards and get your clients and tell people, I'll give you a Starbucks gift card if you leave a review. And every lawyer comes back to me and they say, well, I don't know if the bar will allow that. And it's true, the bar probably won't allow that. So I've been brainstorming this for a while, and I figured out a way that you can ethically pay for reviews. You will not get in trouble for this, but this is going to work really well. By the way, I do see comments coming in and questions. If you have questions, go ahead and ask them. And Chase is going to keep an eye on them. I've got my slides full screen, so I can't actually see the comments right now or the questions. So after this presentation is over, I promise I'll answer every single question that comes through. I'm also going to teach you, this is a big one, how we remove 75% of our clients' negative reviews. Negative reviews do happen. And like I said, you can try to avoid them and you can use them, but at the same time, we also don't want to let them get out of control. So our first step is always trying to get them removed. And we're able to get them removed about 3/4 of the time. It's actually, we've gotten it kind of down to a science. So I'm going to share with you the strategy that we use today. Finally, I'm going to show you how to create a set it and forget it system that automatically follows up with clients to get reviews with the click of a button. I know that a lot of people, when I asked what was your number one problem that you had getting reviews, I think half of them was basically following up and having a system that actually does this for you. And that's a challenge that a lot of law firms have. So I'm going to show you how to build one very, very easily. So, and then finally, I also have I'm going to open the loop here. I've got a surprise that if you stick around to the end of this training, I've got a really cool surprise that I'm going to share with you that I haven't told anyone about. Actually, Chase is my marketing assistant. He's moderating this, and he didn't even know about this until maybe like 20 minutes ago. So this is actually a really cool surprise. Now, the first question is, do you know why most lawyers don't get reviews? Let me know in the chat. Like, what do you think is the reason that most lawyers don't get reviews? I see a bunch of chats coming in.
I think you cut out there for a second. Can you?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, got it. Yeah, no, I see a bunch of chats coming in. All right. Well, the reason I'm going to tell you the answer. I asked you to write in the chat and then I realized I can't see it, but I'll look at it in a second. But the reason that most lawyers don't get reviews is they don't ask for them. In fact, here's a message I got from somebody in my Facebook group, the Lawyer Marketing Facebook group. It's a guy named Dave. He's a cool guy. He's actually from Australia. And he said, I didn't ask for testimonials for years. He's a criminal defense attorney, by the way. And I know that a lot of criminal defense attorneys are afraid that their clients don't want to leave reviews. But he's a criminal defense attorney. He said, I didn't ask for testimonials for years. A few weeks ago, I decided to start, and I've already received 4, and they're all 5 stars. So that's a major problem right there, is that most people just don't ask for testimonials. They just don't ask for reviews. And asking is half the battle. That's kind of one of the biggest challenges, is just getting around to ask. Now, on this training, we're mostly going to be talking about Google reviews, because Google reviews are really the first line of defense that you have for your law firm. When we talk about Yelp, when we talk about Facebook, all these other things, those are typically reviews that people will see after they start researching your firm, regardless of what Yelp tells you. A lot of times people will go to Google and they'll search, personal injury attorney, criminal defense attorney, family law attorney, bankruptcy attorney, real estate attorney, whatever type of attorney you are. They'll go there, they'll search, and this is what they see. They see the Google map pack. Now, there's certain things that we have found after, looking at tens of thousands of reviews for clients. We found that there's an order of importance when it comes to the Google, to what is actually in the reviews. The first thing that is the most important part of your reviews is the number of stars that you have. And when I say this, I mean the number of partial stars. So what we have found is if you have 4.5 stars versus 5 complete stars, there's really not that big of a difference. We haven't really seen a bigger drop in call volume if someone goes from 4.5 stars to 5 stars. You can see the middle one, Samus Law Firm, on this example. They've got 4.5, they've got 58 reviews, and they've got 4.5 stars. And it doesn't look bad. It doesn't have a bad, we just found it doesn't make that big of a difference. The second most important thing, and probably the most important thing in this particular map pack that we're looking at, is the quantity of reviews that you have. Not necessarily, the rating itself, which the overall rating is actually third in terms of what we have found. And the reason why is because the number of stars is a visual thing. You can look at it, you can see it. And just at a quick glance, that's the first thing that you see, is you see 4 stars, 4.5 stars, 5 stars. And as long as you see like the left side of the star, which that's why Samus isn't a big deal, because there's 4.5 stars, but that might as well be 5 stars in the eyes of the reviewer. So now what happens is the reviewer looks at this and they say, okay, I don't know who any of these people are. This is a criminal defense attorney search that I just pulled from Tampa. I don't know who any of these law firms are. So if they knew who you were, they would Google your name, right? They wouldn't just Google criminal defense attorney. So what they need to do now is they need to categorize, and they need to figure out who are they going to call. Who are they going to call? And in a lot of cases, what they're going to do, and what we have seen, is that most of the time, the next thing that they do is they look at the number of reviews that you have. So in this case, Parks and Braxton, I would bet any amount of money that Parks and Braxton gets the most phone calls out of this entire 3-pack, just because of the fact that if the person searching knew who any of these law firms were, they would basically just search, they would search Samus Law Firm. They wouldn't search criminal defense attorney. So that's why it's important to have the most reviews in the entire 3-pack. We had a client they're a bankruptcy attorney, and they were in the Google Maps for a lot of really competitive keywords. They were in the maps for Chicago bankruptcy attorney, Chapter 7, Chapter 13, all the important bankruptcy attorneys, are all the important keywords for bankruptcy attorney. So, but the problem was that they just weren't getting phone calls. They were in the maps, but they weren't getting phone calls. So we started looking at the map pack a little closer, and we started realizing that there was 3 listings in there. They had 5 reviews. And the other two attorneys that were in the map pack, they had 10 reviews and 15 reviews respectively. So there was two other law firms that had more reviews than they did. And all three of them were around the same. They were all 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, something like that. So there's no difference there. So I wanted to do a little test. I told my client, what I want you to do is I want you to go out and I want you to get 20 reviews. And basically I want you to, so you'll have a total of 25 reviews now. And by doing that, you'll now have the most reviews in the 3-pack. So they actually listened to me. They went out, they did it. And then the next week, they did it over the weekend. The next week, they had 25 reviews, and it was the busiest week in the history of their law firm. And it was just crazy. And that taught me right there that the most important thing, when all things are equal, the most important thing is the number that is next to the reviews, the number of reviews that you have. So all of our clients, we always tell them your goal is to have the most reviews in the 3-pack. And sometimes that's easier said than done. I mean, if you were to come in this 3-pack, you've got 89 reviews that you've got to beat. So how do you do that? Because it's pretty challenging. Well, if you use some of these strategies that I teach you, I'm going to show you kind of how to do that. Now, there are 4. Now here's the other thing that we're going to talk about. The other cool thing about this is that when you actually have a lot of reviews, you can use these reviews to rank higher in Google. And there's 4 review factors that go into whether you rank well in Google or not. So the first the first factor that goes into where you rank, depending on your reviews, is the number of overall positive reviews you have. Now, a lot of people think that just because they have a lot of positive reviews, they're going to rank high in the maps. And that's not always the case. There's a lot of times when clients will call me and they'll say, how come this person's ranking higher than me? I have more reviews than them. Well, it's because it's not all about just the number of positive reviews. But if you get a lot of reviews, you can rank higher in the Google Maps if you have a certain factors going for you. And these are the 4 factors. So the first one is how many overall positive reviews you have. And that's something that obviously you can control because you can get reviews. You can get people to leave your reviews. The next thing is how many reviews with responses do you have? So it's very important that when you get a review that you actually respond to that review. And you can do that in your Google My Business profile. You just go to google.com/places and you log in and you can click reviews on the left and you can respond to all your reviews. And that's something that you're very easily in control of. So every review that you have, you should respond to it because that's going to help you rank better. Another thing is the percentage of negative reviews not responded to. So if you have negative reviews and a lot of them and they're not responded to, this is another reason you need to respond to negative reviews, because not responding to negative reviews is almost like you're accepting the negative review in Google's eyes. And what they want to do is they want to see that you're actually addressing the negative reviews. So if you address the negative reviews, if you respond to them, and I'm going to show you how to respond to negative reviews in a little bit, then what will happen is it actually will increase your Google rankings. So, and then the final thing is having keywords and locations in your reviews. So if you focus on these 4 things, having reviews can actually increase your Google rankings in the Google Map Pack. And what that does, obviously, if you rank higher, more people are going to see you, more people see you, they're going to call you, and then it's going to lead to a lot more business for your law firm. So that's why reviews are also very important. Even if it's not for the social proof or the credibility side or anything like that, it'll also help you rank better. So the thing that's always curious is, or that people are always asking is, well, how do I get reviews or how do I get keywords in my reviews? How do I get clients to leave keywords in my reviews? So one thing that you want to make sure is that you're not just being spammy about it. You don't want to tell your client to say, hey, when you leave this review, make sure you say, Bill is the best Orange County personal injury attorney. And I called him to help me with my Orange County car accident. You don't want to be spammy with it. You don't want to be overly spammy. But what you can do is, so what you can do is you can actually ask questions that will get keywords in the reviews. And what that means is that if you send clients keywords or questions to answer in advance, then they will automatically and naturally put the keywords in the reviews when they write the review. And not only that, it'll actually lead to a better review, and it'll make it more likely that they're going to leave the review, because one of the reasons that people don't leave reviews is because of writer's block. You got to remember, you've got to make it as simple as possible for somebody. And if somebody has no idea what to say, then they're just not going to say anything. So what you can do is you can send them an email that basically says, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to leave a review. just to make sure your review is useful for everybody, here are some questions that you can answer that will, ultimately make the review much better. So these are the questions that you can send to the client to make sure that they actually give you a good review. And also it will naturally get keywords in the reviews. So the first question is going to be, what was the problem you had prior to coming to our law firm? The second question is going to be, what made you choose our law firm over all other law firms? The third question is, what did we do for you? The fourth question is, as a result of this, what was the outcome? And then the fifth question is, how was your life, or how has your life improved since achieving this outcome? Now, this is really important because what this is going to do is this is going to essentially allow the client to tell an entire story about your law firm. So they're going to say, what was the problem? I was in a car accident on the 405. I got rear-ended and I, couldn't get my medical bills paid. I contacted the Smith Law Firm and I ended up going with them because I really liked the personal attention that they showed me. And I really liked that the owner picked up, gave me his cell phone number and all that type of stuff. What did we do for you? We took, they took my case, they tried to negotiate with the car insurance company, but when it was clear that the car insurance company wasn't going to give us a fair settlement, then they were willing to take the entire case to trial. And as a result of taking it to trial, we ended up with a really nice settlement. And as a result of that settlement, I now am able to pay for the medical care that I need so that I can get healthy and I can get back to work and I can take care of my family and I don't have to worry about how I'm going to pay my bills anymore. So you'll end up getting reviews like that, which are much better than just the Smith Law Firm did a great job, thanks. You'll get really good reviews. And what's cool about that is you get all those keywords that are related to your practice area and the geographical location where you're located. And that's how you get keywords in your reviews. And it'll also make sure that more clients leave your reviews just because of the fact that you're making it easier for them. Everything you can do to make it easier for clients to leave your reviews is going to just drastically make this process so much easier, because you have to remember, everybody wants to take the path of least resistance. And the more steps that you can take out of their hands, the better it's going to be. And if thinking is one of those steps that you can take away from them, then by all means do that. Another thing to make it simple for clients to leave reviews is you can take them directly to the review page. So a lot of times lawyers will say to a client, would you mind leaving me a review? And the client says, sure, I'll leave you a review. And then the lawyer says, okay, well, just go to Google and search for our name and then click write a review and write your review. So that's fine, but it requires work. So what you can do is you can actually send a bit.ly it's a website called bit.ly. So it's bit.ly. And that's a link that it's a short link. So what it will end up is it'll be the really short link that you can send them, and it will take them directly to this screen that you see on the right. On the right, I pulled the review screen for our good friends Morgan and Morgan. I'm kidding, I don't know Morgan and Morgan, but everyone knows who Morgan and Morgan is. So basically, if you can send your clients a link that takes them directly to this screen where that light box pops up, where the only thing they have to do is click the fifth star on the right, and then, where it says share details of your experience at this place, and then write your review, that's going to be way easier for them than trying to let them navigate on their own. So the way that you do this is you go to Google, you search for your law firm, and then you click on the write a review button, and it's going to pop this light box up. Then what you do is you grab the entire URL. And you can see I highlighted the URL up top there. Then you're going to go to bit.ly, or you can go to bit.ly. I guess they bought bit.ly.com now also, but it's bit.ly.com. And then you're going to paste your link right down there where it says shorten your link, and you're going to click the shorten button. What that's going to return is a link like that. So you can see the bottom link is the long link. The top link is the short link, the bit.ly/2xdbqz8. That's a shorter link. It's a lot easier to send them. And then when you send them that link, it's going to actually open up that window that we showed you. And it's going to make it so much easier for your clients to actually leave you a review, especially if you send an email that has all those questions in it and then says, here's the link where you can leave a review. Basically, what you're trying to do is you're trying to take as much of the work out of their hands as possible. And if you do that, just this simple process will get you much better results when you're trying to get reviews for your clients. And I see I have a ton of questions, almost 49 questions popping up. So there will be, well, keep asking questions, and I'll be sure to answer them after we're finished with everything. Okay, cool. So now here's another hack about how to get incredible testimonials from your clients. And I'm also going to give you a bonus video testimonial hack. This is something that I do all the time, and I love doing this because, like I said, I try to make it as simple as possible. Whenever, even for myself, for my business, when I'm trying to get reviews from clients, try to make it as simple as possible. So one thing you can do is you can ask the client if they would like you to write the testimonial for them. Now, what you'll do is basically you'll ask the client, hey, I really love you, write a testimonial. Would you mind, would it be easier for you if I actually wrote the testimonial and then you could just post it, right? You say that to the client, and most of the time the client is going to be like, wait, that sounds like less work for me. Absolutely. I would love that, right? So what you can then do is you can go back to that script that I sent you, and you can write the testimonial following that exact script. Maybe you can be a little bit generous about some of the keywords that you include in there. Don't do obvious SEO keywords, but just make sure to mention your city in there. Make sure to mention your county. Make sure to do some things like that, and then email them the testimonial along with that shortened link. And you can say, hey, here's the testimonial. Please take a look at it. Make sure that everything's 100% accurate. Make sure that this is a testimonial that you would be comfortable posting. And if so, here's the link and you can go ahead and post it. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. So that's one way you can get really good testimonials, and it will allow you to get more testimonials because, like I said, the more work you can take out of the client's hand, the better. Because at the end of the day, people are going to do the least amount of work possible. So if you can just do as little work as possible for them, then it will make their life easier. Like I said, just make sure that they post it because look, I mean, if they agree with what was said, which, obviously you're not going to make stuff up. If they agree with what was said, if it's well written, and then they post it, I don't see any harm in that. Now, another thing you can do, which is really helpful, is you can ask your clients to record a case study with you via Zoom. And this is something that I do for all my clients now. And what we do is we basically just hop on a Zoom video session, and I record it, and I just use the exact same questions as before. If you use those questions, you will always get really, really good testimonials. And what's cool is that if you do it this way, you'll get a lot of sound bites. And then what you can do is you can send the video to a video editor, and the video editor can kind of clean it up for you a little bit. Now, one hack that I always do with my videos is I start the video with the answers to questions 4 and 5. So if you remember before, I asked 5 questions before, right? And the way that we edit the videos is we edit the answers. We basically edit as the answers to questions 4, questions 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason why is because questions 4 and 5 are really the results part of the testimonial. Now, you have to start asking questions 1, 2, 3, because that is telling a logical, that's telling the story logically from the mind of the client. If you just start, hey, what was the result? Okay, hey, what happened? It doesn't make sense. And what you're kind of allowing them to do by starting with question 1 and then question 2 and question 3, you're almost allowing them to get warmed up to where they actually can get to the results. But you got to remember, the results are what is going to, the results are what is going to drive more business, because people are interested in results and what they see what you did for other people. So they think that is going to somehow be reflective of what you can do for them. And I'm not saying it isn't reflective, but if you start with questions 4 and 5 in your actual video edit, and then so I always do that. Basically what I'll do is I'll edit sections 4 and 5. I'll put those first, and then I'll just do the rest of the video, and I'll keep sections 4 and 5 in there at the end as well. just because of the fact that it would be kind of weird if we did 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and then didn't really have, it's kind of that open loop, you know, people like closure, you know? So if you do that, that's something you can use that on Facebook. You can use that on social media. You can use that on your website. You can do that all types of places. Now, like I said, reviews absolutely impact phone calls. And this is a screenshot of a map pack for a client of ours. Now, I'm not going to say the client's name. I blurred out all the locations so that nobody can figure out where this client is. But this client is always kind of an anomaly. And our client is the one at the very top with 4.2 star or 4.2 rating and 4 stars. Now, if you remember before where I said the most important thing is the star rating, followed by the number of reviews, and then followed by the actual rating. So this is a perfect example of that. This client is a very interesting client. We typically only hear from him once every 2 years. He's been a client of ours, an SEO client for maybe 6 years. He's been a client for a very, very long time. And what's interesting about this client is that when his phones are ringing, we don't hear from him. And the only time we ever hear from him is when his phone stops ringing. And I've gotten to the point now where this has happened every single time. I know when he emails me or when he calls me and says, hey, my phones are not ringing, I don't even have to look anymore. All I have to do is I have to go to his Google Maps listing and see that he got a negative review and that his review dropped. This has happened 3 times now where everything's going great. He's killing it. And then he'll get 1 or 2 negative reviews and his ranking drops and all of a sudden his phone stops ringing. And it happens like clockwork every single time. We always look, and that's exactly what happened right now. So the conversation we have to have with this client every single time is, okay, you got some negative reviews, go get some good reviews, and you've got to get that star filled in. You've got, you're at a 4.2 right now. The last time it actually dropped him down to 3.5 actually. You're at 4.2. You've got to get up to at least 4.5. So you're going to fill that half star again, and then your phones will start ringing again. I promise you. And this is a common thing. We see this all the time. This isn't unique to just our client. There's a visual cue here. Like look at the bottom one, law office of whoever that is, 2 stars. They're never getting a phone call. The one with 12 reviews and 5 stars, they're getting all the phone calls right now. I guarantee you they're the ones getting the phone calls right now. And what's interesting is that once our client gets back up to the 4.5, 5 star, once he's got that 5th star filled in, then they're going to start getting phone calls again. And the middle one with 12 reviews is not going to get nearly as many calls because of the fact that they only have 12 reviews. They have half the number of reviews that our client has. But this is the impact. This is why it's so important to get reviews and not only get reviews, but, protect yourself so that if you get 1 or 2 reviews, it doesn't just completely kill your phone calls, because that's a huge problem right there. So speaking of negative reviews, let's talk about some ways to avoid negative reviews. I know there was a lot of people on this call that were a little worried about negative reviews. And that's actually one of the reasons that you haven't asked for positive reviews, is because of the fact that you're afraid of getting negative reviews. So one of the ways, honestly, the easiest way to get more positive reviews is, to avoid negative reviews is to get more positive reviews. And the reason why is because people are less likely to leave a negative review when there are so many positive reviews, because people don't like being different. So and honestly, I'll be honest with you, this happened to me one time. I went to a bagel shop not too long ago. Actually, it was 2 years ago. I went to a bagel shop and they ran out of bagels. And I was so mad because I don't eat junk food very often. And I try not to eat carbs, or at least I wasn't back then. And I decided I was going to have a bagel, and I was so mad that they were out of bagels. It was a bagel shop at like 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and they were out of bagels. And then on top of that, the person was rude to me at the counter and a bunch of other things. So I went to leave them a negative review, and I went to their Google My Business page, and they had 500 something reviews, all of which were positive. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother leaving a negative review, because first of all, they've got so many reviews that it's not going to make a difference. And you just know who's going to believe me. Everybody's going to think that I'm the jerk because everyone had a great experience and I had a problem, So, and honestly, I didn't leave the review. So if you can get a lot of positive reviews, it will actually make people not leave a negative review. I'm not saying that it's 100% foolproof, but it's a lot less likely that people are going to leave a negative review when there's tons and tons and tons of positive ones talking about how great you are, because they're going to have to admit, okay, well, what's wrong with me? Why didn't I get a great response? So, or a great experience. So that's something to consider, is that getting more positive reviews will actually protect you from negative reviews. And, you know, like I said, protect yourself by flooding with good reviews. Now, the other thing is that it will minimize the impact that a negative review has on you. So what do I mean by that? Basically, take a look at this. If you have 3 positive reviews and 2 negative reviews, well, that means you're going to have a 3.75 rating out of 5, right? However, if you have 50 positive reviews and 5 negative reviews, now you've got a 4.54, even though technically you have more negative reviews than positive reviews. And basically, that's kind of the game. The game is that you want to protect yourself so that if you have 50 positive reviews and 0 negative reviews, that's great. But now what that means is that if you've got 50 positive reviews, you can take a few negative reviews and it's not going to kill your law firm. You know, at 3 positive reviews, 2 negative reviews put you at a 3.75. Imagine one more. Now you're at 2.5 stars. Like that's the problem with the negative. That's the problem with negative reviews. If you don't have a lot of positive reviews, if you've got 500 positive reviews, then it's gonna be very, very difficult to knock down your average with a lot of negative reviews. So you really need to protect yourself from negative reviews by flooding yourself with good reviews. Now, let's talk about how to respond to negative reviews. The first question is, does anyone remember this episode of Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay? Let me know in the chat if you remember this episode. And I'm going to take a sip of my water here.
I do, Andy. That was a great episode.
So
great show.
Now, this is a company called Amy's Baking Company, and you can see on the right, this is a response to people leaving negative reviews. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it starts with, most of you are fat, disgusting losers. Now, this is an extreme example of how to not handle a review, but it also is a really good example that when you get too defensive, when you call names, when you call people liars, it doesn't matter if you're right, you look like the jerk. So we've had this happen many times before where, well, I shouldn't say many times, but we've definitely had it happen before where someone will leave our client a negative review and they go on and they call them liars, they call them idiots, they call them all that type of stuff. And that may be 100% right. They may be completely right. But the problem is that to everyone else that's going to look at that review, you look like you're unstable, like there's all kinds of problems. So there's certain ways that you can respond to negative reviews that will actually help you and will make people, it'll give people a positive view of your law firm. So here's, so what you want to do is when you're writing the response, you need to not be emotional about it. You need to understand that you are not writing the response for the person that wrote the review. You are writing the response for the person that, for the tens of thousands of potential people that are going to see that review and wonder how you responded to it. That's who you're writing to. You're not writing for the reviewer. The reviewer is probably never going to read it because I don't believe that they even get notified when there's a response to a review. I don't think that Google does that. So the response is not for them. So, it doesn't really matter what you say to them from a you interacting with them perspective. What you need to do is you need to remember to be polite. You need to thank them for their feedback, and you need to provide a constructive solution to the story, or to a constructive solution to the problem. And I like an offline solution because when it's an offline solution, then nobody knows what happened. So here's an example of a client that we had recently and a response that I actually wrote. And that's one of the things that we do for our clients. I typically respond to their negative reviews. And So this person said, we met with Mr. Blank about 3 or 4 months ago. My husband was hurt. It doesn't matter what the review is. Bottom line is that the response that I said was, I'm sorry that you feel that way. My priority is protecting my clients and those who've been injured in all medical malpractice cases. My firm must investigate all the facts before filing a lawsuit. If the facts do not support a lawsuit against a medical professional and one is brought anyway, you risk having to pay the opposing party's attorney's fees. Can't read today. Putting you in a much worse situation than you're already in. To avoid wasting the money and time of our clients that are already in a tight spot, we do not want to put you in that situation, especially when we feel that the evidence will not result in a verdict or settlement in your favor. I apologize if I did not communicate the results of our investigation clearly. It is never my intention to leave a client in the dark or feel that they are not valued. Now, here's the part where I basically offer a solution. Please give me a call at the office or email me and let me know when a good time for me to call you, so we can further discuss our findings and why we made the decision that we did. I hope to hear from you soon. So by doing a response like that, by creating a response like this, you're giving some facts that are basically showing that you're actually acting in their best interest. And you're offering a solution. Now, the solution is not going to be, obviously, if you're a restaurant, it's a lot easier. Come in, I'll give you a free meal. You can't do that, obviously. But basically what this does is this shows that, customer service, clients, client satisfaction, all that type of stuff is a priority. And it also just paints your law firm in a really good light. So these are the types of reviews that or responses that you really should be writing for negative reviews. Here's another one we did. You can see it started as worst law firm ever. I would not recommend, and then it says, they're a scam and very shady and blah, blah, blah. So this was a little bit less straightforward. And I don't remember exactly what the deal was with this one, but the response was, thank you very much for taking the time to review our firm. Your input and feedback from all of our clients is vitally important to us. And we always want client expectations to be met, or not only met, but exceeded. Per your comments, we have clearly had some miscommunication, as there are some inaccuracies in your account in your account of your relationship with our firm. This has obviously led to your frustration, for which I greatly apologize. I would like the opportunity to discuss this matter with you as soon as possible so that we can come to a resolution that is to your satisfaction. Please call me at the office as soon as possible, or send me an email with the time that works for me to call you. Thank you. So something that's really interesting is that I end every single one of these messages with, please call me at the office or send me an email at a time that works for you. And I always follow with the client. I always say, how many times has that person ever reached out to you? And to this day, I've been doing this for, 7 years now, 8 years. I started in 8 years. I have never heard a client say that the person actually reached back out to them. And so that's kind of my point, is that basically this is a review or a response that will paint your law firm in a good light. Now, I've had lawyers contact me and say this is 100% wrong. And you know what? If you think that, then that's fine. This is how I handle it, and I've seen the impact that this type of response has had on basically how what I look at is how it impacts phone calls. And I've seen that these types of responses work much better. Now, there's also some law firms out there that have done some comical responses that I think are pretty funny. There's one special instance of family law attorneys where, let's say the family law attorney is representing the wife and wins the case, and then the husband will go on and leave a negative review for the attorney. I've seen attorneys that actually will turn that around, and they'll say, they'll give a response, something like, this is the opposing party in my in a divorce case. Based on his 1-star review, you can see that I did a good job. So like stuff like that, I think it's kind of funny. And like, you can stuff like that, like, it's basically, you kind of have to take those at a case-by-case basis. But the reality is that you want to make sure that you're cool, calm, and collected on these things. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like, I kind of look at it like a football game, how the retaliation is always the one that gets the flag. It's never the initial hit, so you got to be careful about how you retaliate and how you answer these reviews. But consistently, this is how we do it, and it works really, really well. Now, let's talk about what everybody wants to hear about, is how you remove negative reviews. Well, this is the process that my company goes through whenever we have a client that gets a negative review, and it works 75% of the time. It's not 100%, but it's pretty good. If you could remove 3/4 of your negative reviews, that's pretty good. As Larry David says, pretty good. So the first thing that we do is we have to review, we have to flag the review. And the way that you do that is you go to the review, you hover your mouse over the actual name of the person, and then there's going to be a flag, and then you're going to click on it, and then there's going to be a couple options. It'll say what's wrong with this review. So you want to try to be as accurate as possible when asked what's wrong with this review. Now, there's only like 4 or 5 categories, but you need to make sure that whichever one you select is you need to make sure that whichever one you select is as close to what's wrong with the review as possible. And I'm going to show you how you kind of figure that out in a second. What you want to do is you want to have as many people as possible flag the review, preferably from different IP addresses. So what we do as a company, because we all work remotely, so it's really easy for us, because what we're able to do is basically client gets a negative review, we can pretty much just all flag it from our houses. And then we also go on our phones and flag it from our phones using data, not Wi-Fi. So if you're in an office, for example, you can have everybody take their phone, go on data, don't use the company Wi-Fi, and flag it that way as well. So you want to have multiple people flag it, and you want them to be as accurate as possible when asked what's wrong with the review. So it's a good idea to let everybody know which option you're selecting when flagging the review. The next thing you need to do is you need to respond to the review. Just like we said, in the past ones, be cool, calm, collected. Don't call the person a jerk. Don't call them a liar. What really you should do, especially if they're not a client, if they're not, if it's a situation like that, or if the story is inaccurate, you definitely want to put in there that there are some inaccuracies with this story. Don't say you're a freaking liar. Just say, there are definitely some inaccuracies with your account of what happened, in your interaction with our firm, or thank you for taking the time to leave feedback. Upon reviewing our records, we have no record of you ever having been a client of this firm, something like that, because that's going to be important when they go and review the review, when they look at the review after it's flagged. Next thing you do is you wait for 72 hours. And this is very important. We always wait 72 hours. And then what we have to do is, and you don't have to wait 72 hours to review the Google guidelines, but we want to wait 72 hours, and during that time, we'll review the Google guidelines. And the way you find the Google review guidelines is you just go to Google and search Google review guidelines. And then what you want to do is you also want to look and see if this person who left the review has left other spammy reviews. Because if they've left other spammy reviews or other like weird reviews, that's usually something that can get the review removed right away. Then what you do is you want to call Google. And I don't have Google's phone number right now because Google's kind of partially shut down because of this whole coronavirus pandemic thing. But the way you call Google, the way you find their phone number is you go into Google AdWords. So you'll go to ads.google.com. If you don't have an account, just create one. And then you do contact us, and there's a phone number in there. And one of the options is talk to Google My Business or Google Places. And you should be able to contact them that way. Now, what you need to do is you need to tell them that the review is against their guidelines. And that's why it's important that you review the Google guidelines. So what you want to do, it might be a little bit of a stretch sometimes, but basically what you have to do is you have to find one of the guidelines that you can really kind of attack and tie that review to it. And there's definitely some ones like inaccuracies or conflict of interest or different things like that. We're always able to find some sort of guideline that we can argue. You can always tell them that the person was never a client if they weren't a client, or if they were, sometimes maybe we say that anyway, and maybe we don't, I don't know. But the other thing is that we always make sure that we say we need your help. And that's kind of like a life hack. Whenever I talk to anybody in any sort of customer service role, if I need somebody to do something for me, the first thing I always say, I learned this from a guy named Jerry West, who is, he's like a really old school SEO guy. And he's really good at social engineering. And if you need anything in life from somebody, the first thing you should say is, I need your help, or will you help me? Because people have for some reason, I don't know why I tried that. I thought it was crazy, but it actually really works. So if you call somebody, say, hey, so the person will answer the phone and say, hi, this is Bill with Google. You say, Bill, I need your help. I have a review on my Google profile. I have no idea who this client is, and it's killing my ranking. I really need your help getting rid of this. For some reason, the phrase "I need your help," I don't know why, but it absolutely works, and it makes people do things that you want them to do for some reason. So a little life hack. But we always tell them, I need your help. We need help getting it removed. And what'll happen is it'll go into a review process. And I mean, it's crazy, but 75% of the time, and we actually ran the numbers over the last 6 months, we've gotten 75% of the reviews that we flagged have been removed using this process. So it's a little bit of a manual process. There's a lot of steps to it, but you can remove the negative reviews. And then the ones that you can't remove, you've got good responses to them, and hopefully they're not impacting you because you're flooding them with other good reviews. All right, now let's talk about how to ethically pay for reviews. Now, this is something that I came up with this. I was really excited I came up with this about 2 months ago. Maybe it's 3 months ago now. I don't know how long ago it was, but I was really excited when I finally figured this out. And it was the type of thing where I was kind of like, I don't know why I haven't thought of this. I don't know why I didn't think of this 6 years ago, because, it's one of those things where it's been staring me in the face the entire time. So a lot of times what you have to remember is that there's a what's in it for me mentality always. Clients always have a what's in it for me mentality. And there's a TED Talk out there. I don't remember who gave it. I think it was Simon Sinek. And the gist of the TED Talk is that you should never tell people your goals. And so for example, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to quit smoking, if you're trying to do any of that stuff, you should not tell people your goals. And the reason why is because physiologically, there is basically telling somebody that I'm going to lose 50 pounds will trigger the same endorphins in your head as if you were to have actually achieved that goal. So you're much less likely to achieve it if you tell somebody your goal. So what I'm thinking about with this is that I started thinking about this a couple of years ago, and I was like, when you ask somebody to leave you a review and there's nothing in it for them, the only thing that's in it for them is the satisfaction and the good feeling that they helped you out. That's truly what it is. There's nothing else for it. When you say, hey, client, I just got you a bajillion-dollar settlement. Would you mind going on Google and leaving me a 5-star review? Or not even saying that, just would you mind leaving me a review on Google? And that way other people can know what it's like to work with us. They're going to say, yes, I will absolutely leave you that review. And the problem is that now by saying I will absolutely leave you that review, that endorphin is firing like crazy in their brain. And they are now getting the satisfaction of leaving your review without actually leaving your review. Then they're going to go home and they're not going to do anything. And, life's going to get in the way. The kids are going to get in the way, or the kids are going to drive them crazy. Work's going to come calling. All that type of stuff's going to happen. And they're not going to leave you a review because there's nothing in it for them. So you have to remember that everybody has a what's in it for me mentality. And that's why gift cards work so well. That's why you say, hey, look, you leave me a review, I'm going to give you a $25 Outback Steakhouse gift card, because there is not much people will not do for a bloomin' onion. The problem is that you can get, ethically in trouble for that. And we've had clients that have had very, very good success giving out Starbucks gift cards. We had a law firm get 45 reviews in one weekend just because they gave out some Starbucks gift cards. And the problem is your competitors will give out gift cards. Even if you don't want to do it, your competitors will do it. So I've been struggling with this for a long time. How do we incentivize clients? And what I've realized is that you don't incentivize clients. There is no incentive that you can give clients. Instead, what you should do is you should incentivize your staff. You should incentivize your staff to get reviews, because if you incentivize your staff, then you will actually get the reviews. Now, there's one specific person that you're going to want to incentivize the most, and that's going to be your receptionist, the person that's at the front of your law firm that is with them in the waiting room, that checks them in, checks them out, all that type of stuff. And what I would recommend is paying your receptionist a bonus of $20 to $100, whatever you're comfortable with, per review generated. And I would absolutely recommend making it worth their while to get as many reviews as possible. Now, the receptionist is going to know if they're having a good time or a bad time. So if it's a client that's pissed off, obviously say, look, don't ask clients that are mad to leave reviews, because if we get a negative, if we get a negative review, I'm going to dock you $100. I don't, maybe don't do that, but obviously they're going to have kind of their pulse on what's going on in the law firm. At least I would think they would. So if you incentivize your receptionist, and when they're sitting there, when they come in, and you basically give the receptionist a reason to ask them for a review and to actually stick with it, then you will get reviews, just because, like you said, the big problem, no one is asking for reviews, and this will ensure that they are asking for reviews. At $100 per review, they could probably essentially double their salary if they get so many reviews for you. And, that sounds like a lot of money, but the reality is that these reviews are 100% worth this money. We have, like I said, we have clients that one client, they spent one weekend, they got 45 reviews. They used Starbucks gift cards. Yeah, it's not maybe ethical, but that's what they did. And that was like 5 or 6 years ago. They still absolutely crush it, just because of the fact that they have so many reviews. None of their competitors have stepped up and gotten reviews. And, they still tell me to this day, yeah, we get so many calls, and everybody mentions how many reviews we had. So, and they're a personal injury firm. They do medical malpractice. Trust me, if they paid $1,000 per review, it was still been an amazing ROI for them. So absolutely pay your receptionist a bonus for every review generated, and it will absolutely make a big difference for you. Now, here's something important. Do not give out Wi-Fi passwords to clients. This is why. Because you can ask for reviews while they're in the office. As long as they are not on your office Wi-Fi, they can leave you a review and it will not get flagged as spam. If they're on your Wi-Fi and you've got a bunch of different people leaving reviews while logged into your Wi-Fi, all with the same IP address, then Google's going to see something's weird happening, and they're likely going to flag a lot of those reviews. So rather than telling the clients to log off of Wi-Fi, just don't give out the password. That's the easiest way to do it. I mean, I don't know how many law firms give out their Wi-Fi password, but you probably shouldn't anyway. But just don't give any Wi-Fi password, and then they can do it on their phone. As long as they're on, as long as there's nothing weird like a Starbucks hotspot or something that they can pick up. Also, if they are, then you probably have to ask them to turn off their Wi-Fi. But you can ask for reviews while they're in the office, and you can even pre-print the questions that I listed before and even give it to them before they leave the office. And what's cool about that is that now they're sitting there and probably waiting for you for a couple minutes. You can give them the thing; they can fill out the review while you're sitting there, and you're getting you're incentivizing someone, and you're not going to get in trouble for that. So that is how you ethically pay for reviews. Now, I want to teach you the secret to marketing anything. And this is something that I learned back when I was in college. When I was in college, I used to transfer VHS tapes to DVD. And what's cool is that I bought a billboard one time, and you can see the billboard, the live billboard on the right. On the left, I bought it from Clear Channel, and they give you this like miniature copy of your billboard, which is really cool. It's like a little trophy for your billboard. So my billboard was transfer your VHS tapes to DVD, which, by the way, the billboard absolutely 100% did not work. What did work for me is I used to get those yard signs, and I would just hand write on the signs. I would write transfer your VHS tapes to DVD, and I put my phone number. And I didn't use the to DVD number. I just basically said, I just have my phone number. And it's funny because when I first started this, the first day I ever did this, I put the signs out. I probably put 10 signs out, and I waited, and rush hour hit. And my phone just absolutely blew up. I probably got 50 phone calls, and every single person that I talked to was like, "Oh my God, I've been looking for this service. I've got a box of VHS tapes in my attic, just collecting dust, and I know they're going to get ruined if I don't transfer them to digital soon. And I'm going to go home. I'm going to count how many I have, and I'm going to call you back, and we're going to meet up, and we're going to do this." So I was like, "Oh, cool. And I was talking to 50 people, and I'm counting the money that I'm going to make in my head as this is going. Like I've got 50 people. Each one probably has on average 10 tapes. Man, that's a lot of money. And one by one, actually I should say none by none, nobody called me back. It was really weird. So, and this went on for like 2 weeks. Like I kept putting signs out, and everybody was calling me like so enthusiastic about it. Like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then they never called me back. And I was like furious after like 2 weeks. I was like, there's no way that everybody's so excited. Are they messing with me? Like, what's going on here? So, fortunately, and I have no idea to this day why I ever did this, but for some reason, something made me actually write down the names and phone numbers of every single person that called. So like 2 weeks later, I got pissed. I was like, you know what? I'm going to call these people and figure out what happened. What made them change their mind? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. So one by one, I started calling, and every person I called, they were like, oh my God, I've been looking for your phone number. I totally forgot. I definitely want to do this. And you know, and then I followed up with the follow-up ended up leading to me making like $5,000 that weekend, which I was a broke college kid. So imagine think back to when you were in college. If you just made $5,000, you know, in a weekend, I mean, I might as well have won the lottery. That was like insane. But that taught me something very valuable, is that follow-up is the most important part of anything in marketing and in getting reviews, because getting a review is a marketing campaign. They've already hired you, but you're trying to get them to do something else. Now you're trying to get them to pay you with their time. They already paid you money, or, you know, however it was, but now you've got to get them to pay you with their time and their effort to actually leave a review. So follow-up is the most important thing. This must have been 2006, 2007 when this was. And to this day, I mean, even with my company, why do you think, I mean, everyone on here probably gets emails from me all the time. The reason you get so many emails from me is because follow up. That is where success in marketing lies. Most people think that marketing doesn't work because they don't have a follow-up plan. That's the reality. And reviews are no different. They're not paying you with money. They're paying you with their time and their effort and their attention. That's what you have to remember about this. So what is important is that you create a simple set it and forget it system that automatically follows up with clients to get reviews with the click of a button. So you can do this using a software called ActiveCampaign. Now, ActiveCampaign is email automation software. And what you do is you create, a lot of people use it. A lot of people don't use it. I'm not sure if you use it or not. If you have Infusionsoft, you can probably do this also. Although I don't use Confusionsoft. I don't use Infusionsoft because it's way too complicated, and you know, I just don't like it. So I use ActiveCampaign. So what you do is you create a simple form that has their name and their email address, and then you build out an automation that looks like this. Now, I know this looks complicated, but don't worry, I'm going to break this down. It's really, really, really easy. So what happens is, basically this system automatically gets, as soon as you enter their name and their address, their name and their email address and click submit, it automatically sends them to this system. Now, I'm going to zoom in on this and just show you one portion of this. So if the way that ActiveCampaign works is it's a flow chart and it's all drag and drop. So I know this looks a little complicated, but I'm going to explain it, and it's actually really, really easy. So what happens is when you submit the form, it will automatically add a tag. And the tag is going to be review requested. So at the very top, you can see it says tag review requested is added. So what that means is that when the tag review requested has been added, then what it will do is it'll kick off this automation. So then it just goes down the list. So the first thing it's going to do is going to wait until their time is 12 p.m. And then once it's 12 p.m., because the reason you want to do this is you just don't want, you want it to send at the same time every day, and usually lunchtime is a good time to send it. So then it's going to send an email entitled testimonial request 1. And this is the email that you write that basically thanks them for taking the time to leave a testimonial. We really appreciate it. Here are the questions, blah, blah, blah. Here's my short link, all that type of stuff. So then what happens is they get that testimonial, or they get that email, and hopefully they'll actually click on the link and leave a review. So what it does is it waits for one day. And then you can see the next thing. It says, does the contact match the following conditions? Has clicked on any link. So basically what that means is that if they have clicked on the link, then it's going to go to the left column. And basically what that does is that sends you an email that tells you that they clicked on the link. So then what you do is all you have to do is you have to go to your Google profile, see if there's a review there. If there is not, then don't do anything. What'll happen is it'll automatically put the contact back on the no side where it says wait for 3 days, and then it'll send testimonial requests too. And it just keeps going through. You just have to basically, you just keep repeating this. And you can see right here, all this is just repeating. It's send the email, check to see if they clicked the link. If they did not click the link, wait 3 days, send them another email. Check to see if they clicked the link, and then send the email. Now, if you need help setting this up, really anyone that knows anything about ActiveCampaign can build this system for you very, very easily. Truthfully, this system is actually pretty simple. If you want to take a screenshot, you could probably rebuild this. I mean, anyone that really doesn't even have a lot of marketing knowledge could probably rebuild this in an afternoon, and you just keep it going. And then basically what will happen is they'll just keep, they'll just basically eventually leave a testimonial, because this automatically sets it up for you. And here's the zoomed in version once again. So how many people are feeling overwhelmed right now? Let me know in the comments if you're feeling overwhelmed with all of this testimonial stuff. I know there's a lot here. Taking a sip of my water. Looks like a lot of people feeling overwhelmed. All right. If you feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, let me ask you a question. If there was a way to completely automate everything that we talked about today, so you can have a system in place that generates tons of reviews virtually on autopilot with hardly any work from you or your staff, would you be interested in that? Let me know in the comments if you would be interested in a system that allows you to generate tons of reviews on autopilot with like no work. Is that something you might be interested in? All right, it looks like it does. It looks like there's a lot of people interested in this. Okay. All right. So for the last few months, I've been working on a top secret project, and I haven't told anyone about this project until now. And because you guys stuck around to this point, I put together a crazy offer for you. So let me know in the comments if it's okay if I take about 10 minutes and tell you about the offer. If you guys are interested in this, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, putting stuff on autopilot. So let me know if you want to hear about it. All right, cool. Looks like a lot of people want to hear about it. All right, cool. All right, I'll tell you about it. All right, so I've been secretly, in my top secret layer, I've been developing a brand new software called Review Judge. Now, Review Judge automates every single thing that we talked about today. What it does is, or what it is a review generation system for law firms that runs on autopilot. It makes it super easy for clients to leave reviews, and it non-intrusively follows up automatically, and it detects when a client has left a review. So that way it doesn't keep following up to them after they left a review. It ensures that keywords are present in your reviews so that you rank higher, and it screens for negative reviews before they're posted. Now, if somebody actually goes and leaves you a negative review anyway, then what it does is it automatically implements our negative review removal system. It's got it completely built in. So it's cool because it doesn't work just on Google. It works on Google reviews, Yelp reviews, Facebook, Avvo, and much more. And we're also going to integrate it into the most popular law firm practice management software. So Clio, Filevine, Practice Panther, MyCase, Rocket Matter. And there's a lot more also that have APIs that we're going to integrate this software directly into, so that you'll be able to basically just from your file management system, just click get review, and it will automatically fire off an entire campaign like we just showed you. It will also allow you to send up to 100 client review campaigns at once. So in any given month, you can do up to 100 client review campaigns. So it literally just automates everything. Now, the software is in beta right now, and we're looking for some law firms that want to be part of the beta test. And there's some really, really cool stuff that happens in the beta test, and I want to tell you kind of what kind of is included and what you're going to get when you sign up for the beta test. So the first thing you're going to get is obviously access to the Review Judge beta program. Now, what this does is this gives you an exclusive first access to this software. So you'll get a head start on this program before any of your competition. And it'll actually allow us to build the software, continue building the software with your law firm. So you're going to really get kind of a custom application for your specific law firm. We're going to give you a white glove onboarding and setup process, which means we're actually going to meet with you, figure out what are your needs, and we're going to train your staff the proper way to use it and how to, the proper way to actually get client testimonials, client reviews, all that type of stuff, and how they can actually use Review Judge for this. We're going to write custom email sequences that are specifically written for your law firm. And we're also going to do custom text message sequences that are written specifically for your law firm. Because this isn't just an email application. We're going to follow up via email and text message, which is something that the other thing in ActiveCampaign I showed you doesn't even do. You're going to get prioritization for your case management software. So, if you, whatever case, there's so many different case managers out there. We've been doing the research, and there's so many of them. But, if you use Clio or if you use MyCase or whatever it is, we're going to prioritize that and make sure that those are the ones those are the softwares that we integrate with first, because of the fact that, we want to make sure that we're in beta. We want to make sure this is working perfectly for you. You also get to work directly with our project managers for feature requests. So basically what that means is that if you're using the software and you say, it'd be really cool if we could do this one thing, if we could customize the message via text message, or only text them between certain hours or different things like that. Like, you can actually reach out to us and we'll actually figure out which of those requests can be implemented, and you'll be able to give us feature requests that you want. So it'll actually be kind of like a custom program written directly for you, which is really cool. Now, there's over 500 people registered for this webinar. We cannot offer beta for everybody. So for the first 25 people that sign up, you're going to get some bonuses. First thing you're going to get is you're going to get lifetime access to Review Judge after it goes out of beta, after it launches to everyone. Now, this is only limited to the first 25 people. You're also going to get our Talk to Google framework. Now, this is also limited to the first 25 people. What this is this is the actual framework and it's kind of a script and kind of a framework that we use whenever we get on the phone with Google to get rid of our negative reviews. And I'm only giving out 25 of these because I don't want 500 people having the exact same script that they use and Talk to Google, because then it won't work anymore. But 25 is fine. So the first 25 are going to get lifetime access to Review Judge. They're also going to get our Talk to Google framework. You're also going to get our Zoom interview framework. And basically what that is that's our framework that'll give you these amazing Zoom testimonials every single time. And it's a guide. You just follow it. It's a framework and it works really well. We're also going to edit 5 of your Zoom videos for you. And this is, again, it's for the first 25 people to sign up, because I can't do this for 500 people. But for 25 people, we're going to edit 5 Zoom interviews. If you remember, I said the way that we edit it is, questions 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll edit those for you. We'll chop out, some of the ums and uhs and clean them up really nice. So you have some really nice Zoom testimonials. We will also give you our video editor's contact information. So that video 6 and beyond, you can actually go directly to him and you can edit these. Now, again, limited to 25, because my video editor is my video editor. And he's a freelancer, but I also don't want 500 lawyers going to him and now I can't get any videos edited. So I'm going to give you our video editor contact information. He doesn't charge a lot, really reasonable, and he'll be able to do this for you. We will also allow you to send to unlimited clients, and this is only for 25 the first 25 attorneys that sign up. Because if you remember, like I said, we're going to do 100 campaigns. The standard account is going to come with 100 simultaneous campaigns. But if you sign up and you're one of the first 25 today, you get unlimited clients. You can send unlimited emails. So that is a total value of $17,896. Now, I want to ask you a question. If all this did, and obviously, look, we've all been on webinars. I'm not going to charge you $17,896, but I want you to think about this for a second. If all this did was finally allowed you to set up a system that consistently gets clients to leave reviews over and over again for your law firm, and it's on autopilot, and that leads to more and more clients and more revenues, would that be worth $17,896? Absolutely. I mean, how much money does your law firm generate in a month or a quarter or a year? Obviously, it's way more than $17,896. for personal injury attorneys, for a lot of attorneys, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, the difference between, 5 reviews and 50 reviews. Having reviews is absolutely vital, and it's worth way more than $17,896. Now, if all this did was put a custom system in place that shielded you from negative reviews and allowed you to systematically remove them so that you don't lose potential new clients to other firms due to having poor reviews, would that be worth $17,896? Of course it was. Think about what, 2, 3, 4 clients, how much revenue is just generated from just a handful of clients. Of course it's worth $17,896. Now, finally, if all this did was ensure that your clients use keywords in your reviews, making you rank in the top 3 of Google Maps, which gives you unlimited free organic traffic, would that be worth $17,896? Of course it would. We have clients, our average SEO client pays us $40,000 a year for us to get them in the Google Maps. And most of the time it's as simple, I mean, not always, but a lot of times they can really, really, really improve their chances just by getting reviews using the way that I have explained here. It's totally worth $17,896 because we have clients that pay us $40,000 per year for this. So it's absolutely worth it. Now, and you got to remember, Google introduced the Map Pack back in 2010, and it's not going anywhere. They're starting to make it more prominent. So it's not going anywhere. So these reviews are going to become more and more and more important. Now, we had 2 choices when we were doing this whole thing. We basically could go with the first option, which was to go as cheaply as possible and sell as many beta memberships as possible. But the problem is that wouldn't really allow us to incentivize and stack the value like we're doing, because we're giving some pretty crazy value here. So the second option requires a little bit higher investment, but in exchange, we can devote more resources to you so that we can guarantee your success. So what's the cost of not being in control of your reviews? That's what you really have to think about. I mean, look, this is our client from before. Like I showed you, he lost 1 star and his phone is not ringing. And it's been like this for about a month, and we told him to get reviews, but he hasn't done it. He doesn't have a system in place. So what's the cost of what's the cost of silent phones? How much money would you lose if if you stop getting calls for a week or 2 weeks or for a month? But conversely, how much money would you make if all of a sudden you were the top guy in the maps, or the top girl in the maps, and you had the law firm that had the most reviews and the best ratings, and you were blocking all those negative reviews? Think about how much that's worth to you. So what you're going to get, again, is you're going to get exclusive first access to the software. You're going to get the white glove onboarding setup and training. You're going to get custom email sequences written for your law firm. You're going to get custom text messages written for your law firm. You're going to get the case management software prioritization. You're going to work directly with our product managers for feature requests. And then the first 25 that sign up today, and this is going to go fast because there's a lot of people on this call, you get lifetime access to Review Judge. You get our Talk to Google framework that's limited to 25 people. You get our Zoom interview framework limited to 25 people. You get 5 videos edited, which that's pretty crazy right there. And I can't tie up our video editor, so that also is limited to 25 people. You get our video editor's contact information, and you get upgraded to an unlimited account where you can send unlimited emails to unlimited clients. So if you can get started today for one payment of $997, and that will get you into the beta program. That'll give you a head start on this program before your competition. And all you have to do is go to reviewjudge.io, and you can go ahead and get signed up and get into the beta program today. Now, again, if you're interested in this, make sure to hurry up, because the first 25 are the ones that get the lifetime access and the unlimited sending and all those other really cool bonuses that I talked about. So again, if you want to get started, if you want to sign up for this, go ahead, go to reviewjudge.io and get started today. It's one payment of $997. That gets you everything in here. It gets you basically a custom software for you that's going to get you clients, get you law firm reviews on autopilot. Basically, you're going to work with our developers, get this entire thing built out, and we'll do it and make it work specifically for your law firm. So I know we have a lot of questions coming in, both about the software and also about the about getting reviews in general. So I'm going to open it up for Q&A. And I had a few that I saw came in that I wanted to go over. All right. So one question was, didn't Google stop taking reviews right now? And the answer is yes. Google actually did stop taking reviews right now. But that's just for a limited time. And what you can actually do is you can actually use this time to start kind of getting your house in order for when Google starts leaving reviews or allowing you to leave reviews. They actually are kind of easing those restrictions. What they did is they dropped down to kind of a skeleton crew. And by doing that, what they did is they made it so that they were prioritizing healthcare for a while. So what they they stopped allowing Q&As and allowing people to and actually reviewing reviews. So you were still able to leave reviews, but you were not able to. Basically, they just didn't go live right now. So yeah. So but it'll be coming back here very, very soon. So all right, cool. I see a bunch of people signing up here. So again, go to reviewjudge.io if you're interested. Now, there's something I want to talk to you about also is that you guys have two choices here. The first option is you guys can do nothing and you cannot take this leap of faith. It's 100% risk-free. And I'm going to talk to you about the guarantee that we have in a moment here. But the second option that you have is you make this small investment today, and it's small compared to all the value that you're going to get in return, and you just give this a shot. And I've got this really cool philosophy where if I can't make you money, then I don't deserve yours. So I have a 30-day guarantee. And basically what the guarantee is that if you sign up today, sign up for the beta test, if you don't like it for any reason, I don't care if it's 29 days, 23 hours, and 59 minutes from now, just let me know and we'll give you 100% of your money back. But the real question is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? Which if it even does half of what I've claimed it'll do in this training will pay for itself as soon as your first review campaign is live. So again, here's everything. And I'm going to answer a few more questions. Let me pop out of here. Okay, cool. All right. So the next question is, when will the software be ready? Okay, cool. So what's going to happen with the software is we're actually going to, it's being developed right now. So when you get signed up today, then you're going to get emailed probably within 2 to 3 weeks. And that's when we'll be able to start onboarding your law firm and getting you started with everything. So once you sign up, really we'll probably be getting you into the beta program within 2 to 3 weeks. And it's going to happen pretty quickly. All right. The other question I saw was, when will this be released to the public? So probably released to the public. I would say this probably is not going to be live to the public probably for about 4 months. So you're getting, it'll probably be the end of the summer when we get this thing ready. So you're getting really a head start on everyone else that is that's trying to sign up for this thing. And all the other competition in your market will not be able to get reviews like this, and they'll actually probably be like, how did this law firm get so many reviews? So that's that's when it's going to be released. All right, let me go back here. I think I saw some more questions that we didn't have. Okay, cool. All right. So Chase, I saw some of those questions. What are some of the other questions that we have?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. So going back to some of the questions, this is a question about Google reviews. And do you have any advice for how Google highlights just 3 reviews? One of ours is horrible review from a person who was not a client, and it's a 1-star review. And they don't know why it's showing up. Do you have any advice for that?
Well, the first thing is obviously you want to respond to it. And I'm not sure exactly where they're showing that it highlights. Are you talking about when it's actually shown in the 3-pack or so? Yeah, sometimes you'll see a review that's in the 3-pack. What is that? I don't know if that person can answer that question.
Yeah, it's a good question. They just said advice for how Google highlights just 3 reviews.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, honestly, I'm not entirely sure, to be totally honest with you. What I would do if it's a negative one, I would definitely flag it, and I would go through that process that I showed before, which is how you actually can get rid of those reviews.
Awesome. All right, then for the review judge, Mark asked, do I have to have a website for this to work?
No, you do not have to have a website for Review Judge to work at all.
Awesome.
Yeah, it just uses, as long as you have email, we can make it work for you. It's, yeah, you don't need a website.
Okay. And for the Google, for sending someone a Bitly link,
Yeah.
the question is, why would you use a Bitly link instead of a G.page link?
You can use whatever you want. I use Bitly just because it's the easiest. It's the easiest one. But really, any short link you can use.
Cool. And for Review Judge, does that integrate with Practice Master?
As long as it has an API, we will integrate it with Practice Master. We'll have to take a look at that. But basically, anyone that has an API, we will, and if you're in the beta program, we'll prioritize that. So if it has an API and you're in the beta program, we'll integrate it.
Okay, awesome. And how about if your client doesn't use Gmail for reviews? Can they still leave a Google review?
Well, so there's a couple options. If they don't use Gmail, it's really tricky because there's a whole added extra step. So what I typically do is I try to get them to go somewhere else. So if they have Facebook, you can get them to leave a Facebook review. If they have Avo, I don't even think you need to be logged in for Avo. That's a good place. So yeah, if they don't have a Gmail account, there's two things you can do. One is you can walk them through how to set up a Gmail account, which is always tricky. But you can, you can do that, or you can send them somewhere else. I typically will send them somewhere else.
Okay, great. And then are there any other charges for Review Judge other than the $9.97?
Nope, that's it. And if you're one of the first 25, which I'm not sure how many people have signed up, if you're one of the first 25, there will not be any charges after that.
Okay. Jeff Goldtrap, who was on earlier, he asked, would you ask for reviews from people who opt into something that you're doing, or just clients only?
Well, I mean, if it's like a consultation, I know of a lot of lawyers that actually will get reviews from consultations, and it's basically if they give really good advice, then they'll ask for a review, and it works sometimes. So yeah, I mean, if you give any sort of value at all, and you can give, if you give any sort of value at all, then yeah, I mean, try to get a review if you can.
Awesome. And then Seth Weston asked, is this included in the service for current clients? He's referring to Review Judge.
Oh, gotcha. I'll work something out for you, Seth.
All right. And then for sending out links for reviews, Pamela asked, I think the Florida bar prohibits sending links. Do you know anything about that, or what's your advice if that is the case?
I've never heard that the Florida bar doesn't allow you to send a link to a review. The challenging part is that there's 50 different bar associations. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to kind of figure out which one is specific, what the specific rules are for yours. I know the Florida bar is definitely a little bit more challenging. So, if I've never heard that with Florida though, because we've got several clients in Florida and we've never had anyone tell us anything with that. And I've actually never even heard that. I know that Florida is challenging, but you'll have to look and see what they allow.
Awesome. And then Stephen asked, he said we use MyCase. It does not have an API, so I'm assuming that will not work with Review Judge.
I'm pretty sure that MyCase does have an API. We were looking into it. I'm pretty sure it has either an API or an integration.
So it would work.
It will work. Yeah.
Cool. Right. And you mentioned something during the training about writing a testimonial for a client.
Yeah.
Is that ethical? Clients have asked me to do that, and I haven't done it because it seems somehow wrong. Google or Florida bar. Joel asked that question.
Well, I mean, the way that I look at it is that if the client asks you to write it, or even if you ask the client if they would like you to write it, and then they send it to you, or then you send it to them, and you have a note say, hey, here's, take a look at this, make any edits. If there's anything I got wrong, or if there's anything that is different from the way you feel about how things happened, then, please feel free to make these edits. And when you're ready, go ahead and post it. At that point, I mean, the client's agreeing that at that point, I kind of look at it as no different as if the client wrote it themselves, because they're agreeing to it. and they have to actually physically take the step of copying and pasting it into Google. So I think it's one of those gray areas, but I mean, I think that there's so much effort from the client that, and again, you've got to check with your local bar association. That's kind of the default answer, is that it always depends on your bar association. But if you can do that, it will make life so much easier. And honestly, it's not like if you were writing it and then creating a fake account for your client, like, yeah, that's definitely a problem. I don't think the other thing is an issue.
Okay. Mike asked about Review Judge. Is this for attorneys only, or will it work for other businesses?
Right now it's for attorneys only. It's really specific for law firms.
Okay. Okay. And Sarah asked earlier, historically, we've only responded to negative reviews. If we respond now to all reviews, even if they're months or years old, will that still help with ranking, or is that a bad idea?
Yes, it definitely will. I would respond to everything.
Okay. All right. And then you mentioned the 30-day money back, right, on Review Judge.
Yeah.
Does that starts when it's released, or does that start when you sign up?
That starts when we start the beta program.
When the beta program starts. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then how do you suggest we reply to negative reviews when we can't even acknowledge they are clients due to ethical rules?
When you can't acknowledge that they're clients?
Yes.
So again, a lot of this comes down to the wording. And actually, what's interesting is that I've used this before, where I'll say, thank you so much for taking the time to provide your feedback. If unfortunately ethical reviews or ethical restrictions prevent me from commenting further, but please call me at the office so we can discuss this matter and reach an amicable resolution. Something like that, which it's actually kind of cool, because you can basically say, we're not able to talk about this, but we value your feedback and please call me and we'll handle it.
Okay, awesome. Then Carrie just asked, I wonder about pestering former clients who failed to leave reviews, even when they kept calling for future free legal advice. When is too late to ask for a review? Is that possible?
I don't think it's ever too late. That's one of the first things that we do when we get a new client. We always tell them, hey, listen, you need to go back and, let's get as many reviews as possible, because, a lot of times, especially if you have, if you ended things on a good note with them, I think that a lot of times you can go back and contact them. And again, it's like everything else. You just have to follow up a bunch of times. But I think that it'll work. I think it's good.
Okay. So would you reach out to a client maybe from a couple of years ago in the same way you reach out to someone, from a week ago? Michael asked about, reaching out to prior clients.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of a different email. And actually in Review Judge, we're going to have two different types of campaigns. We're going to have, like recent clients and kind of like a historical client campaign. So it's actually kind of a different type of thing, where basically you want to kind of reach out a little bit and make a little bit more of a personalized touch, rather than just, hey, it's me, I need something. So you might want to, and honestly, if you're really trying to do a review campaign for old clients, it's probably like the best thing to do is like almost like pick up the phone. That's usually one of the best things you can do. Although that's kind of a manual thing that I know you don't necessarily want to do, but that's usually going to get you the best results.
Awesome. And Marianne asked, does it integrate Review Judge with Perfect Practice case management?
I'm going to have to look. We'll have to look and see if there's an API on that one. It's called Perfect Practice. Let me look it up on my phone real quick. Hold on a second. Let's see, Perfect Practice case management API. It looks like there is an API for Perfect Practice. So I think I'm not sure. We'll have to take a look at this. Actually, this might not be. So if not, then if there's not a integration for it, then it's going to be really, really simple. Basically, all you have to do is enter their name and their email address and their phone number, and then it will just automatically fire off. So I don't see an API for that one, but it's going to be ridiculously simple. And we're going to set the whole thing up for you. So the only thing you have to do is enter the name, email address, and phone number, and the campaign will kick off.
Awesome. So yeah, so even if there's not an API, it's super simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. And then Chadwick asked earlier, you mentioned about crediting or incentivizing your staff and not the people who are leaving the reviews. How can you credit multiple staffers, or I guess he's asking what's the best way to track that, like who's giving or who actually made the review happen?
Yeah. Well, you could have like a Google Sheet when you have like client, so basically kind of like a last touch. So you can have a Google Sheet that has the client name and the person that actually asked them for the review. That might be a good way to do it. If it's more than one person, so it's kind of, maybe that's a feature we should build into Review Judge. That would be interesting if we actually have actually have an incentivization platform that we can build in there. That'd be a good feature request. So I think we're going to add, I'm going to put that down to add that. But in the meantime, you could do probably a Google Sheet with the client's name that's shared with everyone that's asking for reviews. And then that way you can keep track of it. That way, if someone gets if you see in your review, you can see who the person was that last asked them about it.
Great. And Rachel just asked about Review Judge. How will the text messages go out?
What do you mean? How will the text message go? What do you mean?
Can you clarify on that, Rachel? Linda asked, does it integrate with TrialWorks? Do you know about that?
TrialWorks. Let me take a look at that. Well, and to answer while I'm looking that up, the the text messages they'll go out, every couple days, just like an email drip sequence. It's not going to be intrusive. So it's not going to be, we're not going to be bombarding them every single day asking for reviews. It'll be kind of gentle reminders.
Okay. Rachel said she uses ZipWhip for texting. Would they be able to use that?
We'll have our own texting integration in the software.
Okay.
Yeah. TrialWorks, I'm not sure if it has an API. I'm Googling it, but I don't see. I'll have to take a look at that.
Okay. Steve asked, is it okay to give clients that give you Google reviews a Christmas present from the firm?
Well, so here's the thing. Like when it comes to incentivizing clients and thanking them for taking their time to leave reviews, I mean, like, you really just have to kind of be creative with it. I mean, like, I don't know. I think that a lot of it really comes down to your comfort level more than anything else. It just comes down to what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with, So, and also I think a lot of it is specific wording too, where it's basically, is this an incentive for leaving a 5-star review, or is it an incentive just for your time? You know what I mean? Like, I think there's some things like that. I don't know. I mean, I think you just kind of have to be smart about it and figuring out kind of the best way to do it. I don't like giving the advice of incentivizing clients just because I know that it's unethical in a lot of states, and I always get yelled at by attorneys from it. Even though I always also say, you guys are attorneys, so you got to be creative and figure out how to do it. I'll say that.
Yeah. So just giving a Christmas present as just appreciation.
Sure. Yeah.
Got it. And then Rachel asked about the phone number. When the text messages are sent out, would it be their phone number or would it be like a random phone number? We don't have that detail worked out yet. It'll likely be like a 6-digit code type of deal. Similar to like what you would get like, there's a lot of services that'll send you automatic text messages. Like anyone's using like Instacart right now, they always text you when your order is ready. So it won't be your firm phone number. It won't be your personal cell phone number. It'll be a number that's tied to our servers. Cool. And a question earlier from Carly. I know this is about primarily Google reviews, but would you handle negative comments on Facebook posts in the same way?
Negative comments, I usually just delete.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if you're running ads and stuff, because the problem is that when you have a negative comment, and you leave it up, then it's going to attract more negative comments, because as soon as someone sees that there's already a negative comment, then the trolls are going to start chiming in. Versus if we delete it, then, and there's no negative comments, like no one kind of wants to be not no one, but a lot of times people don't want to be the jerk by themselves. Like if you remember what I was saying before about how no one really wants to be the detractor, so they don't necessarily want to be the jerk by themselves. So negative comments have a tendency to multiply if you leave them.
Okay, and Bruce asked earlier, do you recommend doing anything differently as far as asking for reviews and everything for Yelp? I know you feel strongly about Yelp, but
yeah, Yelp is really tricky because Yelp has the filters in place where if you ask, because Yelp does not want you to actually ask for reviews. So what's challenging about Yelp is that they will basically filter out and hide any negative reviews, any reviews that they feel were not organically generated, which is really frustrating because like we've had clients that have gone out and gotten a bunch of Yelp reviews and then all of them get hidden. So with Yelp, I typically like really with Yelp's kind of a special case where if you can find someone that has a Yelp account and they frequently leave reviews and they're active and they have a lot of friends on Yelp and stuff like that, that will give you a very good chance of having their reviews stick. But Yelp is really tricky. There's really no great answer for Yelp, unfortunately. I usually say, if you have like people that are more tech savvy, then you can ask them, hey, do you ever leave reviews on Yelp? If the answer is yes, then you need to do whatever you can do to get them to leave you a Yelp review, because they have a much higher likelihood of sticking than a Yelp account that has 0 friends and has left 0 reviews and is brand new.
Got it. And then Frederick asked, if someone leaves with the status of Google reviews right now, if someone leaves a Google review, it'll be placed in a queue and then posted later, or do they need to go back in and try to leave it again?
So Google has said that they will basically go back, they'll review the reviews and everything will get posted. So I have no reason to think that they won't do that, but it's just a question of, will that actually happen? But I mean, the reality is that, they just opened back up responding to reviews. You actually couldn't even respond to reviews for a while. They just opened that back up. And I would say within probably 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to be able to start leaving reviews again.
Awesome. And let's see. Okay. I had another one. Oh, with ActiveCampaign, you mentioned, you had the sequence of sending everything out, automating that. When do you recommend asking for a review?
Really, as soon as you're comfortable with it. A lot of lawyers don't like doing it until the case is over. But like I said, I mean, there's other attorneys that will ask for a review if somebody had a positive experience in a consultation, they'll even ask for reviews then. So I think it's just like whenever you start developing rapport with somebody.
Great. Let's just pull up another one. And Jerome asked earlier, is there a way to ask clients to give a review and give them a gift card that doesn't sound like a bribe, or do you not recommend that?
Well, I think that if you say in exchange for a 5-star review, that sounds like a little bit of a bribe. But if you say, leave a review and I'd like to just compensate, or I'd like to just thank you for taking the time, that maybe that, or something like that. I'd like to thank you for a future client referral. I'm not really sure. It's a tricky one. It's really a tricky one in terms of asking, if you're gonna give something to a client, it's really a tricky one. But I think, again, I've said many times, like, you guys are lawyers, be creative, Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Sarah had said earlier, they've worked on gaining lots of Google reviews, and they noticed that they receive too many in one day or even a few days, some get removed. How do we stop that from happening other than spacing out how often we ask?
Well, the thing that's really going to get them removed is going to be low quality reviews. So if they're high quality reviews, then they're probably not going to get removed. I've actually never really seen Google reviews getting removed due to there being too many reviews, unless it's the type of thing where you get maybe like 100 in a day. That would probably be an issue. But, if you do it like this, it'll be a natural flow. And, what Google looks for is like, they have a lot of AI checks to see if it's a spammy review or not, so if they look and they see that it's only like, it just says great job, thanks, that's much more likely to get flagged than a testimonial that's really long and tells a story and has specifics and things like that, like if it's following the questions that I provided.
Okay, awesome. And then Mike had asked earlier, what's the best way to get reviews for a criminal defense attorney? Is there any differences there?
No, I think it's the exact same thing. What you can tell them is you can tell them that they don't have to give specifics of their case, but it's pretty amazing what people share on the internet. I would just ask, and I think that you'll be surprised at how many people will actually say yes. There are definitely going to be people that don't want to put anything up there. I totally understand that, but there's also going to be a lot of people that will, because I just know, because we have several clients that are criminal defense lawyers, and a lot of them have a lot of reviews.
Awesome. And Brent asks, have you had any luck getting bad Facebook reviews removed? Seems like they just don't care.
I have not had Facebook no, and I actually have not really. We haven't really tried to have Facebook reviews removed. Facebook's really difficult. Like I've got people that have left me bad reviews on my Facebook page because they think it's basically someone that really doesn't like lawyers, and they think that I'm a lawyer, and they're mad at me because another lawyer didn't take their case, so they gave me a bad review. Like, it's weird, but like Facebook doesn't even remove those. So I've never actually gotten a Facebook review removed, but luckily they're not as dire as a Google review.
Jerome asked, he's in the matrimonial field. Many people are not inclined to publicly post reviews relating to cases about personal family issues to protect their privacy. How do you address that?
Well, again, it's the same type of thing. It's a sensitive subject. And, you can tell them they can share as much or as little as they want. But the reality is that you've got to ask, and it just means you've got to ask a lot more people. And, like one thing you could do is, although this is a lot more work and it probably isn't going to happen that often, but if somebody that's really concerned about it, you could even ask them to use a different Google account or change their, use a different Google account with a different name or something like that. If you can figure out some way to talk them into doing that. But the reality is that you just got to figure out, you've got to figure out how to do it, because, and really the way to do it is you just got to ask a lot of people and get a lot of people to do it. That's why you need like an automated system, because if you actually have to manually remember to do it, remember to follow up, all that type of stuff, it's going to be very difficult to do. So if every single person that comes in your office, you just enter their name and their phone number and their email address and just hit a button, and then it just does that automatically, then just by default, you will get a lot more reviews.
Yeah. And Joel chimed in regarding criminal reviews. If clients are hesitant, he has a friend, a girlfriend, or family member use their account. It's a little more trouble, but it's effective if the client likes you and wants to really help you.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also, if you do Zoom reviews, you can actually even do a review where you don't use their camera, you just use their audio if they don't want to use their name. Or you can, make it dark, like, on TV shows when they have the undercover cop, like just turn the light off so you can't really see them that well.
There you go. And Whitney just asked, how do they know if they're one of the first 25 to sign up for a review judge?
We're going to go through and we're going to email everybody. It's in the first 25.
Awesome. All right. So I think that's most of the questions that we had. I don't know if you want to answer any more.
Yeah. Well, if anybody has any last questions, we'll go from there. One other thing that I didn't mention that actually is worth mentioning is that if you do have trouble getting reviews, another thing you can do is you can get character reviews. And what that means is that, because like it never, nowhere on Google does it say client reviews. So you can, call colleagues, call family members, different things like that, and have them leave you reviews that say, if I were ever arrested for DUI in Irvine, California, Bill Smith is the first attorney that I would call. He's knowledgeable, he cares about his clients, and he's got 20 years of experience or something like that. Have them leave like character reviews like that. And like what you can even do is start working with other attorneys and start trading reviews with them. Say, hey, I'll leave you a review if you leave me a review. And just obviously don't get people to say that they're clients. Just say, I've known Mike for 25 years, and he's a great attorney, and he cares about his clients, and I've seen him get some amazing results. Like stuff like that. The most important, the important thing is when people are looking at those stars, most people are not going to go through and read every single review. So just getting those numbers up and padding those numbers is really important. So that's another way you can do it.
Yeah, Steve asked, how about getting reviews with other businesses you work with?
Yeah, you can do that. Other business owners, different things like that. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's use some creativity, figure out who else you can work with, and trade reviews. Give them a positive review in exchange for you giving them them giving you a good review. That'll work. I mean, you can do that. You could probably find 20, 25 different businesses and people to do that with, and really get off to a really good start with your Google account. Probably even more than that if you do it consistently.
And does it matter from the area of the review? Like if you work with someone that's not in your direct area, should you still ask for a review, or what do you recommend on that?
I'm sorry, say that question again. It kind of cut out.
It doesn't matter where people are who leave the reviews, right?
Oh, you mean like where they are in the country?
Right.
I don't like having, because you're a local business, right? So if you're a criminal defense lawyer, if you're like a family law attorney in one place, it's not going to make sense for you to have reviews coming from all over the country, like one or two maybe. But if you've got 50 reviews, if you serve a local area and you've got reviews coming from all over the country, and that's the majority of your reviews, I would have to imagine that is something that Google looks for and would probably flag. So I would not recommend doing that.
Okay. And then one more on Review Judge. The $9.97 is just a one-time fee?
Yes, one-time fee. So cool. All right, guys. Well, were there any other questions, Chase?
No, that's it for right now.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope everybody got something out of this. I'm looking forward to working with a lot of you on the Review Judge beta. Again, if you want to get in on this, it's reviewjudge.io. It's a one-time payment of $997, and we will get you started with everything, and it will give you a leg up on your competition because you can get out there and just start getting reviews, automatically get reviews for your law firm on autopilot. So thanks everybody for hanging out, and we will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.